morning, and welcome to the first video for my YouTube channel in conjunction with my company, Leone Customs. Leone Customs is a custom car shop that I started back in May. We build custom cars and do lots of other things, conversions, pretty much anything that you can think of. If you have a older vehicle that you have always wanted to do something special with, or something that needs to be restored, or anything along those lines, we can help you. If you would like and subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. The more subscribers I have, the more possibility for new business. So I appreciate that very much. So today we're going to talk about the build that I'm in the middle of doing right now, and the build that I have sort of waiting in the wings until the current build is finished. So the current build is a 1968 Chevy C10 pickup that I bought back in April, before I was actually even in my shop, and it sat in my driveway for a bit, and I kind of went back and forth a little bit about what exactly I was going to do. And what I decided to do, since it was my first build with my new shop, I was going to do a complete frame off restoration. And what that means is basically the entire truck gets disassembled right down to the last nut and bolt, and everything is either restored or replaced. If it's damaged or worn or broken, it was replaced, and everything else would be stripped and restored, painted, powder coated, whatever I chose to do at that time. So I am in what I hope is the home stretch, getting that build done. I've been waiting for what really has been months to get parts. Some parts are readily available and ship basically immediately after I order them, and some take forever. I have upper and lower control arms with me in the truck that just arrived, that I had ordered back in May, and I'll talk more about that when I go over that. But it's been a real situation. So trying to get parts, part of it is, shipping's been definitely affected by the pandemic, and some of these companies have gone to much smaller staff. They have less people working in their warehouses, and so when you order something, even if it says it may be available, it may take a fair amount of time to actually get to you. So I've been kind of fighting with that, and it being the first time going through this process, I've learned a lot, and I've kind of learned what to do and what not to do, and we will talk about that as well. The other build that I have that is waiting in the wings is a 1966 Dodge Charger that I got right after I opened the shop. It was sort of a situation that I couldn't walk away from. And on the way into the shop today, we're actually going to stop where I have the Charger. I have my auto trailer with the Charger on it in a storage lot. I just don't have the room for them at the shop at this point, so I have them parked in storage, and we're going to stop and check on it, and we'll talk about the Charger and what exactly it is and what my plan is with it. And so we should be there in just a few minutes. So we are at the storage facility where I have the next project, as I said, a 66 Dodge Charger, and it should be parked right where I left it. Right down over here. And there it is. Let's get out and take a look. So this is my 66 Charger. When you think of Dodge Charger from the 60s or 70s, I think most people think of the General Lee, that type of body style. This is actually the body style before that, which is kind of more of a fastback body style than the one that is the General Lee. This particular car was in a barn since 1978. It is super clean. Clean meaning not really any damage at all, besides the windshield needs to be replaced. But talking about a car this old, that's been sitting for a long time, it's pretty good. Underneath is perfect. You know, there's a little bit of surface rust, but nothing extravagant. This car is going to get completely restored, same as the C10. It's going to be a nut and bolt, and it's going to be beautiful, and I can't wait to get started after the C10 is done. So as I said, it's the windshield is bad, so I'm gonna have to get a new one of those, but for the most part it's looking pretty good. Interior wise, it's dirty, certainly, but it's complete, and that's what's important. The person that I got it from had got a new dash pad, which is right here, is the one that's on the car is cracked. So I have a new dash pad already started and ready to go. The driver's seat clearly is damaged and will have to be reupholstered. But I would like to know from you guys in the comments whether or not you think this should get a interior restoration, basically restoring all of the original interior parts, or should this get a modern interior from a modern Dodge car? So a new Dodge Challenger or Dodge Charger actually has very similar dimensions, and a few other people have actually taken the complete interior out of some of those more modern cars and fit them in these cars. And I'm talking about the dashboard, I'm talking about everything. So I like to hear comments about that. So this is the engine compartment, and as you can see, it's just dirty. It's going to need some work, obviously, but this is a small block 318 that is pretty common with these particular cars, but that's going to get taken out, and this will get a modern drivetrain, either from a newer car or something I get as a crate engine. I'm not sure what the issue is with this engine. This is how I got it. Obviously someone's tried to take it apart. It's missing a valve cover and air cleaner and some other things, but I really didn't care too much about that because it's going to get all replaced anyway. It even has the battery from the 70s. The bluish green paint that's in here is the original color. Obviously, the outside of the car has faded quite a bit. But besides being dirty, it's really, I mean, it's about as nice as I've ever seen. So I'm looking very much forward to getting started with this one. So let's talk about the C10. I'm in the process now of doing a little bit of reassembly, which is nice. I spent a lot of time stripping and refurbishing and welding and priming, and now I'm to the point where I am rewarded with being able to start to put things back together. So I put the cab, as you can see, back on the frame. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be able to leave it there. It's going to be there for now. Once I get the engine back and start to get the engine and transmission in the frame, I may have to take the cab off at that point, just temporarily, but it's really not a big deal. But as you can see, the rear suspension is complete, and rear brakes are complete. Now, nothing is torqued to spec yet. Nothing is really, on there permanently. Everything is just kind of on there, so I can get a good idea of, how everything is going to look, how everything is going to sit, if anything was, out of alignment, or, any of those things. So I will be kind of going through this rear section. I'll put it up on the lift, take the wheels off, and start to torque things and make sure we're good and tight on some other things. The interior of the cab, this cab was really bad. Well, I shouldn't say that. It wasn't horrible, but I did have to replace some of the floor on the driver's and passenger side. But since then, again, it's been stripped, primed, and I started to put some sound deadening down, as you can see. I will be putting another layer of that down, as well as on the back wall here. In these trucks, the gas tank was originally right where you see there, behind the back seat, or behind the passenger seat area. I certainly didn't want it there anymore, so it was gone. And there are a few companies that make sort of a trim piece that can go there now, as opposed to the gas tank, so it doesn't look like something's missing. The filler neck for the gas tank was right here. I shaved it, body worked it, and the new gas tank will go right there in that rectangular space. That bar in the middle is actually where the spare tire would have hung, so that's going to come out of there, and the new gas tank will go there. The dash is pretty good. There are some holes that the previous owners had used a plasma cutter and some drills, and they drilled holes in it. I think they had a CB hanging in here and some other things, and like these two holes right here. I didn't repair those holes because that's where the driver's side air conditioning vent is going to go. So the instrument cluster would go there. Steering wheel, obviously. The instrument cluster is going to be coming from Dakota Digital. It basically looks very similar to the stock gauges, but there's a lot of sort of newer electronics involved, which is really cool. And where the radio goes, which is right here, this is where there was an ashtray, and then this is where the AC and heater controls are going to go. This is going to get a kind of standard style stereo, but I got an iPad dash kit from Soundman that is going to go, basically, it's going to cover this up. It's going to cover up the ashtray because we obviously aren't going to need that. And it's going to have a hole in it here for the stereo, but you'll be able to slide a iPad in there. It's going to be really cool. That's about it for the interior. It's going to be pretty well stock. It's going to have, well, it won't be stock because the stock came with a bench seat. It's going to have bucket seats there. And in the front here, obviously, I'm just now getting the suspension parts for the front, so that's what I'm going to do today. But because I had to wait so long for those, I fabricated this caster setup here so I could at least move things around. I just got some 3/16 plate, welded it together, bolted it to the frame, and then got some heavy duty casters. I was able to kind of, scoot it around when I had to. But I have front suspension parts, and we're gonna get going with that right now. So I wanted to show everybody these before we start to assemble the front suspension. This is upper and lower control arms from CPP. There's a whole backstory on these that I will probably share at some point, but I'm very happy to finally have them. This is the lower control arm. It comes with the ball joints already pre-installed. The upper went with tubular style as opposed to the original stamp style. These are a lot stronger. They are lighter, and they're a lot easier to adjust as far as camber and caster goes. So, and then the front hub assembly, when you order from CPP, actually comes just like this. Everything's already assembled and attached. The caliper, the rotor, the hub, bearings, and the spindle is underneath there, as you can see. That comes in the box just like that, which is really cool. Saves a lot of time having to assemble all of that. And I put a spacer on here, a wheel spacer already. All of the components that I ordered are 5-on-5 bolt pattern, but the wheels that I was able to get that I really liked for this project were 5-on-4 3/4. So I knew I was gonna run a spacer anyway. So I got a spacer adapter that converts the 5-on-5 to 5-on-4 3/4. So I can run the wheels that I liked. So we're gonna get started getting set up for this, and we will show you how that goes. So we got some front suspension on, as I said. Again, everything is just sort of finger tight. I wanted to get a good look at what it was gonna look like. I am so happy. I've been waiting a long time to get to this point. So I think we're gonna end today's video with this, and I look forward to seeing you next time.